"We didn't order for your kids," my mom said, sliding them napkins while my sister's daughters unwrapped their $65 pasta and dessert boxes at the family reunion. Her husband added, "Be grateful they were invited." Just whispered, "Copy that." When the waiter returned, I stood up and said, "My name is Chris. I'm 34, the middle child, and the one who gets called when the family group chat is stressed about logistics. I teach ninth grade algebra at a public high school. I like clean whiteboards, cheap coffee, and predictable schedules. I have a son, Max, who is 9, and a daughter, Lily, who is 6. Their mom and I split 3 years ago. We co-parent like we run a small business. Shared calendar, alternating weekends, receipts saved in a folder named Kids, Real Expenses. In my family, I'm the guy who understands numbers, which somehow turned into the guy who is always good for it. My older sister, Jen, is the favorite. She has 2 girls, a shiny SUV, and an Instagram where every caption ends with grateful. Her husband, Trevor, sells solutions for some company that pays him in jackets with logos. My mom floats between baking advice and moral lessons depending on the day. Dad watches sports with the volume low and says, "Don't start." I'm not dramatic. I like things that add up. I like when a pizza has 8 slices and everyone takes 2. I like when a receipt says what it says. That's why I got good at living small. I know the price of milk and the exact time the laundry room is empty. The kids and I make pancakes on Sundays and pretend they're math problems. If Dad flips 3 pancakes per minute, how many pancakes before Lily starts eating the chocolate chips from the bowl? Family reunions used to be at my grandparents' house. Plastic tablecloths, deviled eggs, an aunt crying in the driveway. This year, Mom booked a restaurant for comfort because Grandpa's knees are bad and because she wants the kind of pictures where everyone looks like they taste old money. She sent the invite with a PDF agenda. Arrive 5:45, group photo 6:10, dinner 6:30, cake 7:20. Smart casual. Children welcome. There was a line about family style to prevent over-ordering and a winky emoji. I dressed like a teacher who's trying too hard to look like he's not a teacher. Clean shirt, the one belt that isn't peeling. Max wore a dinosaur t-shirt under a sweater because he said the sweater was for tricking people, and Lily wanted her sparkly shoes because restaurants like sparkle. We brought crayons and a bag of apple slices. I told them we were meeting the cousins and there would be bread. Bread always sells it. We got there early because I'm allergic to being late. The place had white tablecloths and servers who carried 3 plates per hand like a magic trick. Mom waved us over to the long table like a TV host doing a reveal. "Look at you," she said, kissing the air near my cheek. "Teacher chic." Jen glided in 2 minutes later, daughters in matching bows, Trevor behind them with the grin of a man who thinks valet parking is personality. He clapped me on the shoulder. "Professor Chris." "Just Mister," I said. The waiter did the speech. Family-style starters, entrees, curated for variety, kids' boxes with pasta, fruit, dessert, and a craft element. He smiled like he loved his job. I believed him. While he talked, Mom slid a stack of napkins toward my end of the table. She fanned them out like playing cards, right in front of Max and Lily. "We didn't order for your kids," she said, soft like it's a favor. "They can nibble from the mains. We don't want to spoil their appetites." "They're not boys," I said, quick habit. "One of them is Lily." Mom fluttered her hand. "You know what I mean." Jen leaned in toward her girls. "Guess what?" she whispered loud enough for the table. "Surprise boxes. With desserts." The girls squealed. Trevor drummed the table with his fingers like a drum line of approval. The waiter came back with 2 cardboard carriers shaped like little houses. He set them down in front of Jen's kids. "2 kids' packages," he said. "$65 each." He turned his polite face toward me. "Should I bring 2 more?" I opened my mouth. Mom's hand moved before mine. She nudged the napkins closer to Max and Lily like she was dealing a different kind of meal. "No, we'll share," she told the waiter. "We're a share and care family." Trevor added without looking at me, "Be grateful they were invited." He said it like a joke that wasn't a joke. The back of my neck warmed. Max tugged my sleeve. "Are napkins food?" "Not yet," I said. The table got loud in the way families get loud. Stories layered over stories. The waiter floated in and out with plates, salad bowls, baskets of bread. My kids reached carefully, said please, said thank you. Drew a maze on the paper kids menu that wasn't meant for them. Jen's girls unwrapped their boxes like presents. Everyone nodded like this was normal. The first trigger wasn't the napkins. It wasn't even the line about being grateful. It was the moment Mom caught the waiter's eye when he hovered with the black leather check presenter like a bird waiting to land. She tipped her chin at me the way people gesture at trash cans when they want you to know where to put things. Chris will settle, she said, light, like she was doing me a kindness. He's our numbers man. The waiter looked at me. I looked at my kids. Something in my chest clicked from later to now. I didn't stand up. Not yet. I just put a flat palm on the table and felt it steady under my hand. I said the quietest thing I've said in years, mostly to myself. Copy that. And when the waiter returned, I was ready to say something I'd avoided for a decade. I didn't become the family wallet on purpose. It happened slowly, like dishes piling in a sink. When you finally notice, it's not one plate. It's all of them. When I was 15, Mom asked if I could float Jen $40 for a formal dress because you're responsible with your allowance and you'll get it back Friday. Friday stretched into, I thought you understood what family means, and I learned that in our house, borrow meant don't ask again. At 17, I started tutoring kids in our neighborhood. $20 an hour, cash. Mom bragged to everyone that Jen was so generous with her time, helping the younger girls with makeup for dances, and I handed Jen my cash when she came home crying because they wouldn't let me hold a tab. I told myself I was the nice one. It's easy to be generous when you're a kid who thinks 20 is forever. By 22, I was student teaching, driving a car that clicked when it turned, and picking up shifts at a bookstore to pay for gas. Jen called me from the mall. I need help, she said. It's an emergency. I pictured a flat tire. It was a designer diaper bag she had to get for a friend's shower. We'll split it, and it'll be from both of us, she said. Funny thing about splitting, I paid at the register, and she posted a photo of my sweet find with a caption about adulting. I married young. We were broke in the way you are when your entire kitchen is hand-me-downs and your pantry is 6 different pastas. When Max was born, Mom showed up with groceries and told everyone she was keeping us afloat. The receipt on my counter said otherwise. I'd paid. She'd picked. Jen had her first daughter around then. The whole family moved in orbit around that baby. I didn't resent the baby. I resented the orbit. Every we included me when there was a bill and excluded me when there was credit. I kept telling myself it would even out. I believed in math. I believed that if I kept track and kept calm, the universe would balance the numbers. Here's a list I once promised I wouldn't write and then wrote anyway. 10 airport runs in 1 year. You're already up early, Mom said. You're a morning person. 3 last-minute dog sits because we forgot you can't bring dogs to wine country. $250 for a family fundraiser table Jen didn't want to bother other people about. $480 over a summer for camp snacks when camp turned out to be their backyard and snacks turned out to be organic pouches with adjectives that sound like personality traits. $90 here, $60 there, $35 because it's tacky to ask a server to split, and I'm so good with calculating tip. The asks got smarter, less obvious, less traceable. Can you just grab it? You're already at the store. You like doing this stuff. I became the person who likes to cover things. The divorce didn't help. It made me a softer target. People see a single dad and assume he's collecting handouts or that he owes gratitude for being included. I talk less at gatherings. I kept Max and Lily close. I cut coupons from an app and made extra rice and called it Crispy Rice Night, so it sounded like a choice. Numbers still held me up. I could open my bank app and see that I wasn't crazy. I could scroll through charges and name every dollar. Then there was Trevor. He arrived in the family like a seminar about value. He uses words like leverage and asset and cost center. The first time I asked him to watch Max for an hour while I ran to school to fix a projector the principal swore was life or death. He said yes, and then texted me the next day. No stress either way. Shoot me $40 when you can. I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. He sent a Venmo request with a handshake emoji. The note said, time is value. Mom defended him. He's just organized, she said. You could learn a thing or two. It takes guts to ask for what you're worth. It also takes guts to be family without invoices, I said. She sighed like I was the slow student. You're always so literal. I teach equations. Being literal is my job. When Mom announced the reunion dinner, I watched the words she chose. Adults $70, kids $65. But let's not get fussy. Family style makes it simpler. She added, we'll do boxes for the girls because they're picky. And then, almost as an afterthought, Chris, bring crayons for your two. I asked if I should order boxes for Max and Lily. Let's see how they do with the mains, she wrote. We don't want extra charges. A week before the dinner, Trevor sent me a friendly reminder request for $18.72 labeled apps from last time. Your share. Last time was a barbecue at my parents' place where the apps were chips and salsa from a bulk store purchased by me. I didn't pay. I also didn't fight. I told myself I'd make the line at the restaurant, calmly, like a person reviewing a proof. No yelling, no lecture, no math lesson, just a simple sentence. Meanwhile, the small humiliations kept their drip. Max asked why his cousins have restaurant boxes sometimes, and he doesn't. I said, we do family style. And he said, is family style when you don't get your own? Lily asked if napkins are just very flat bread. I laughed because if I didn't laugh, I'd throw. The day of the reunion, I packed the kids' bag like a field medic. Apples, crayons, stickers, the emergency granola bar that tastes like sawdust but saves a meltdown. I dressed us like we were trying to disappear in a nice place. I told myself, again, one sentence. You can say one sentence. We walked in. Napkins slid. Be grateful. Boxes unwrapped. The waiter's eyes flicked to me for direction like I was the sane adult in a play about people pretending money was feelings. And Mom said it. Chris will settle. My hands didn't shake. My voice didn't rise. The math finally balanced in my head. Years of small bills against one small boundary. I waited for the waiter to come back, and I decided to put the check where it belongs. The room didn't change noise. It changed pressure. You could feel everyone's attention lean without their eyes moving. When the waiter returned with that black folder tucked under his arm, I stood up so he could hear me cleanly. Not dramatic. Just enough to not be another whisper at the table. Can you split the bill by who got served? I asked. He blinked, then nodded like a man who has been waiting his whole shift for someone to say a normal sentence. Mom laughed in that bright way people laugh when they need witnesses. Oh, Christopher. It's one bill. We always do one bill. Aunt Karen chimed in. We trust you. You're the math teacher. Trevor leaned back, arm over the chair like a king in a discount painting. Buddy, don't be that guy. I pointed gently with an open hand toward the kids. 2 kids' boxes were served at that end. I said. Max and Lily weren't served those. We shared the mains. We'll pay for what we ate. Jen's smile thinned. Chris, this is tacky. It's accurate, I said. Mom's mouth made a small O like a fish discovering glass. This family doesn't nickel and dime. This family has been nickel and diming me for a long time, I said. Calm. Each word a small block you could stack. I'm done with that. The waiter hovered like a careful bird. I can itemize, he said. No problem. Don't you dare, Mom told him, cheerful poison. We're together. Please do, I told him. By what was actually served. He looked between us the way a person looks at 2 roads and chooses the one with streetlights. Yes, sir, he said to me and disappeared. A quiet folded over the table like a perfectly ironed napkin. Jen whispered to Trevor, not that quietly. He's making a scene over pasta. Trevor, still leaning, gave me the smirk he saves for teachable moments. Look, man, last month we watched your kids so you could run your emergency to school. Did I send a Venmo? Sure, but it's all family. It evens out. You sent an invoice for watching your nieces and nephew, I said. You also ate my Doritos and took my last Gatorade. A few cousins laughed into their water. Mom tried to pivot. Chris, be grateful you were invited. There it was. The line. I looked at her, then at Max and Lily, who were both coloring a cat that looked like a potato. Stop saying that to me. I said. I'm your son, not a guest. The waiter returned with 3 black folders. One in front of my parents, one in front of Jen and Trevor, one in front of me. He set them down with the care of a surgeon. I split based on the items I saw delivered, he said. 2 kids' boxes went here. He tapped near Jen's elbow. Everything else is grouped accordingly. I can adjust if needed. Jen opened her folder like it might explode. This is, she started. 198? For pasta and, Trevor, why does it say 65 twice? Trevor squinted like numbers were an offense. Kids' packages, he said. It says so right there. Mom opened hers. 224. She stared at the sheet like it had insulted her. We hardly ate. Dad coughed into his napkin and looked at me like I was an umpire. I opened mine. 39 before tip. 2 sodas, a plate the kids actually ate, and a side of vegetables they ignored. I slid my card in and closed the folder. Mom's voice sharpened. Put that away. No, I said. You're embarrassing yourself, she said. I'm not embarrassed, I said. I'm correcting bad math. Aunt Karen tried to lighten it. It's just dinner, honey. It's not, I said. It's a pattern. Jen's cheeks went bright. You're punishing my kids. My kids were given napkins, I said. They're fine. Trevor leaned forward, elbows on the table, the we're having a man talk pose. This is petty. This isn't about revenge, I said, steady. This is about closure. I'm done being the person you assume will pay because I know what 8 times 15% is. The waiter took my card with a small nod like two people sharing a joke no one else gets. He moved to Jen. She slid her card in with a shaky inhale. Trevor added his with the flourish of someone who thought the flourish counted as money. Mom didn't move. Your father and I, she started. We'll pay for what you ate, I said. Like everyone. She stared at me. I didn't look away. I love my mother. I also love my kids. Loving both at the same time just means saying no to one of them sometimes. When the waiter left, Max whispered, "Did we do something wrong?" "No, buddy," I said. "We're doing something right." No one wanted cake anymore. The group photo slot at 6:10 ghosted past us. People gathered coats like shields. The cousins kept their eyes on their shoes. Jen said, "Wow," like a prayer that didn't reach heaven. I signed my slip, tipped the waiter like a person who has watched people carry more than plates, and stood. "From now on," I said to the table, "I pay for what I order and who I bring. That's it." Mom opened her mouth, closed it, then turned to look for a camera that wasn't there. I helped Max and Lily into their jackets. We walked out into the kind of evening that smells like someone else's dessert. My phone buzzed in my pocket like a trapped bee. I didn't look. Outside, the air felt like math done cleanly. The car hadn't left the parking lot before my phone lit up like a slot machine. "Jen, you humiliated me." "Mom, call me." "Trevor, not cool, man. We're not your ATM." "Aunt Karen, sweetheart, I think you overreacted, but we love you." I put the phone face down in the cup holder. "Chocolate or vanilla?" I asked. "Chocolate," both kids said. We got milkshakes at the drive-thru with the big neon ice cream cone. I told the kids we were celebrating surviving the fancy restaurant. They clinked paper cups and declared it an official holiday. At home, after showers and pajamas and one more page twice, I sat on the couch and opened the family group chat. The messages stacked. "Mom, I don't know who you think you are." "Mom again, I have done everything for you." "Jen, as a mother, I can't believe you'd make dinner about money." "Trevor, a Venmo request for $22.40 labeled bread plus shared apps." I typed, deleted, typed, deleted. Then I wrote one clear message. "New policy for me. No group bills. No, we'll settle later. No babysitting invoices. I'll pay for what I order and who I bring. If it's a real emergency, call me. If it's not, budget." I put the phone down. It buzzed so much it migrated across the table like a little bug. I flipped it into Do Not Disturb and wrote a sticky note in block letters. "You're allowed to be done." I stuck it to my laptop because yes, I'm corny, and also because that's how I remember things. Morning. The kids ate cereal with heroic amounts of banana. I checked my email. One from Trevor with the subject line, "Friendly reminder," attaching an Excel sheet labeled Running Totals. I didn't open it. I archived it. I took the kids to school and daycare, waved at the crossing guard, and felt something in my chest that felt like the aftertaste of saying the right thing. At 10:12, Mom called. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. Again. At 10:20, she left a message that sounded like a speech she practiced in her car. "Christopher," she began, which is how I know I'm in trouble. "I don't know what got into you. You made me look like a fool in front of my own mother. Your sister is devastated. Trevor is hurt. Be the bigger person. Apologize and I will forgive you." I listened to it twice and heard the line in the middle where she said she would forgive me. I didn't think I needed forgiveness for asking to pay my own bill. At lunch, I microwaved leftover chili in the math department lounge and told myself not to check my phone. I checked it. Jen had posted a story of her girls in matching pajamas with the caption, "Protecting their joy." Trevor posted a boomerang of a wallet snapping shut with the text, "Boundaries go both ways." I muted them both. There was a small pleasure in pressing mute. It felt like turning down a radio that's only static. After school, I graded quizzes at my kitchen table. Lily made a fort out of couch cushions. Max asked if decimals are just tiny fractions that got squished. I told him yes, and we high-fived. The doorbell rang. Mom, holding a tin of cookies like a peace treaty. I didn't invite her up. We talked in the entryway with the draft from outside tickling my ankles. "Let's reset," she said. "Family movie night Saturday. I'll make lasagna." "No thanks," I said. Her eyes flashed. "Don't be ridiculous." "I'm not," I said. "I'm choosing." She tried the memory card. "Do you remember who paid for your braces? Who drove you to tutoring? You act like we never did anything for you." "You were my parents," I said. "That wasn't a loan. And none of that means I owe you for the rest of my life." She lowered her voice. "Your sister has a lot on her plate." "So do I," I said. "2 kids. 1 salary." I teach Mom. Not crypto. She lifted the tin. Cookies. Take them to Jen's, I said. She likes being grateful. Her mouth tightened. Be grateful you were invited, she said, out of habit. Stop saying that, I said. I'm your son. She left the cookies on the floor by my door like a package no one wanted to sign for. I left them there until the kids went to bed and then put them in the freezer because I'm not above eating rage cookies later. The week tried me in small ways. Aunt Karen texted, your uncle can't get his iPad to work. Can you swing by? We'll feed you lasagna. I said, I charge $90 per hour for house calls, with a smiley, then followed with, just kidding. No, sorry. It felt good to be unserious and serious at the same time. Jen emailed me an invoice, an actual PDF, titled Babysitting Balance, Family Rate, for $160. There were line items that were not real. One said, watching Max while Chris got a haircut, which was funny because Max was with me, at the haircut, asking the barber questions about clippers. I replied, no, that's it. Just no. The quiet parts of my day got louder. I made a new sub-account titled Kids Only. I moved $100 on payday. Not much. Enough to feel like I was choosing my own invoice. I booked the kids into a Saturday community center day camp for the weekends I used to rely on help. It was $35 each, and they came home smelling like gym mats and pride. Max learned to play foosball. Lily learned that whistles are very loud. Mom texted pictures of lasagna from movie night like the food itself would lure us. We missed you, she wrote. It's not the same without your giant bowls. I stared at the photo and thought of my grandmother's mixing bowls that she gave me last year. They've lived at Mom's house since because she said she'd keep them safe. I texted back, please send Grandma's bowls home with me next time you're by. She sent a thumbs up. No words. On Thursday, Grandpa called. He's quiet, but he doesn't pretend. You okay? He asked. I am, I said. Good, he said. Your grandmother says you were right. About what? About the waiter, he said. I laughed. Friday after school, I asked the kids what they wanted for dinner. Breakfast, Lily said. We made pancakes for dinner, measured flour like a lab experiment, and did fractions with measuring cups. Max poured the batter in the shape of the number 8 and yelled, infinite pancakes. We ate at the table with the good napkins I bought on sale years ago, the ones we use when we feel fancy. No one sent me a bill for using them. The family chat slowed to a simmer and then to a weird, polite quiet. People asked if I was coming to things for the first time, like I had a choice. I said no a lot. I said yes to things that didn't require a wallet. I walked the kids to the park on Sunday mornings instead of driving across town for brunch where the kids' menu is $14 for a dry waffle and a sticker. A small package appeared on my doormat a week later, no note. Inside, wrapped in crinkled tissue paper that smelled like Mom's spice cabinet, were my grandmother's bowls. I washed them and made popcorn in them that night. The kids said the bowls were too big for popcorn, which means they were perfect. Not everything was easy. Jen sent me a midnight text one night. Are we good? The kind of text that isn't a question, it's a trap. I typed, pay your bills. Don't send me invoices for being an uncle. Don't expect napkins to be meals for my kids. I deleted it. I typed, we can be if you stop expecting me to be your budget. I sent that one. She responded with a single word, wow. I let it float there. The next morning, I took the kids to school and thought about how weird it is that the world doesn't blow up when you set one boundary. I'd been bracing for a storm. Turns out the storm was mostly a group chat and some awkward silence at a table we don't own. Saturday, we went to the library. Max checked out a book about bugs. Lily checked out a book about a bunny that learns to say no. At bedtime, Lily asked, is no a mean word? It's a true word, I said. It makes room for the yes you want. She nodded like that was dessert.